What's going on, everybody? If you're seeing this page, that means the official Touring Your Reign Reloaded merch store is now available. To get access to the store, make sure you go ahead and click the store tab on my YouTube channel. From there, you will be able to see all the merch that is available. We have mugs, shirts, hoodies, joggers, and so much more to come. All original designs made by yours truly, Touring Your Reign Reloaded. Now go ahead and get your merch today, and you can feel nothing in style.
Major developments in a story we first brought you yesterday on Fox 5 News at 4. In the past hour, police announced they have a major break in the discovery of a body inside the trunk of a car in Gwinnett County. Authorities have announced charges against 6 people. Fox 5's Angelique Proctor joins us from Gwinnett Police Headquarters this afternoon. Angelique, I listened to that press conference earlier. Really disturbing details coming out of it.
Absolutely, Christine. It was truly tough to listen to. Gwinnett police say 6 people are charged with false imprisonment, beating, and starving a young woman to death. Now, the victim's body was found in the trunk on Tuesday outside of a popular Gwinnett County spa. But police are now telling us that spa, Jeju Sauna, had nothing to do with this crime. But take a look at the 6 suspects who are charged with felony murder, false imprisonment, and other charges. One is a juvenile whose face we cannot show you. Detectives say the victim came to this country from South Korea in mid-July to join what she thought was a religious group. They say the 6 suspects, which includes one woman, held her against her will, beat her, and then starved her to death. The suspects call themselves soldiers of Christ.
Apparently, the victim was subjected to beatings, malnourishment, which subsequently resulted in what the medical examiner's office believes the cause of her death. The victim was about 70 pounds when she was discovered by detectives.
Yeah, just 70 pounds when she was discovered. Now, police say the victim was tortured in the basement of a house on Stable Gates in Lawrenceville. They gave us pictures of that basement. One of the suspects is in the hospital on unrelated charges. Police right now say there is no sexual motive or gang tie at this time. We are live in Gwinnett County. Angelique Proctor, Fox 5 News.
All right, Angelique, thanks for the latest from there.
All right, so y'all just heard that very bizarre and wild story right there, and I was just completely taken aback just listening to the audio, especially about the part where they revealed how much this woman weighed when they found her. I had to replay it over and over again because I wasn't sure if the cops said 7 pounds or 70 pounds, but after rewinding the part maybe about 4 times, he said 70. But that's still rather low in weight for someone who was an adult, no matter how maybe petite that person might actually be. But this is a very messed up story right here, and the so-called model minority, they got some explaining to do, because you know they love to stick it to us. But this is why it's almost like a blessing in disguise. I know it kind of sounds crazy to say it like that when this happens, but the reason why I say that is because, and this is not me, jumping for joy because it's will be seen as an Asian on Asian crime. It's more so because they love to try to stick a propaganda thing to us when they try to make it seem like we're always going out attacking them, but they don't want to talk about the crime that goes on in their community when it's against each other. And the same could be said about other groups. They love to always hammer down on black people. Oh, what about black on black crime? 30%, the rest, the usual stuff that they love to say, but they don't talk about it when it happens with them. So you heard in the audio in the news report that this woman came from South Korea. She just got here in July. She's only been here for about 2 months, if that. And she thought she was coming here to join a religious group. I hope it was a group and not a cult, but the way that they was running this thing, it could be a little bit cultish. But she said she was coming here to join a group, but of course they had other alternatives, as you can see about what happened. Now you see on the screen, that's only 5 of the victims, because the news report even went on to say that one of the individuals who was involved with her untimely murder is a minor, and I actually found out that this minor is 15. So yes, you had a whole 15-year-old involved in this group. if you want to call it that. And what got me is that they called their group the Soldiers for Christ. That's what they call them. When they said that, I said, are you kidding me? That's why you got to be very careful about these type of religious groups. Not, again, it's not knocking anybody's religion or whatever, but a lot of them say, oh, they're doing this for the sake of religious purposes, but then it turns out that it's something completely different, and it's never exactly what it is. And they took advantage of this woman clearly because they knew she was ripe for the picking. She came from another nation, and she probably was looking for a way out anyway, and she thought she was going to come over and be amongst her peers, not only because they might share the same religious beliefs, or so they claim, but also because they came from the same possibly ethnic background. I'm not entirely sure what group or what tribe in Asia they descend from, but let's hypothetically say that they all came from South Korea. Then, you know, she has some kind of connection there while she's not in South Korea. And then this ends up happening. They probably built up some kind of rapport with her. They built up some kind of trust for her to trust them, and them to somehow, some way, trust that she won't go out of her way to show, like, maybe get away from them. But it really just came across very cultish. And they said they found her body in the trunk of a car, badly decomposed. I think I read somewhere else in another article that at first they couldn't even tell what gender this woman was at first, because that's how badly she was decomposed. Like, that's horrific when you think about it in hindsight. If you were that badly decomposed that they can't tell your gender, that is scary. That is horrible. I can only imagine what torturous acts they put this woman through before they finally put her in this trunk. Now, the news report also went on to say that there was no violations of any kind to her when they thoroughly examined her body. But still, at the same time, look at the outcome. That's why you got to be very careful about who you trust, because not everyone has your best benefit at heart. Now, initially, I was going to probably leave this story alone and maybe save it for another live stream. But one thing that compelled me to make this video is when I made a post on Twitter, when I had said, where is Kenny Zhu, the active Asian account, Juju Chang, Michelle Malkin, and so on and so forth. Indy No, you know, the people that love to have a lot of ish to talk about when it comes to black people. And I posted that up and posted the link to this article. And somebody responded to that with a screenshot from the active Asian account. Now, I can't go on the active Asian account because they have blocked me, and I've been blocked from them for months now. And I do not feel bad that they blocked me. I'm glad they did. They put up a bunch of propaganda up there, and that's the reason why they probably blocked me, is because a lot of black people were starting to expose them for the stuff they was posting up there about them. So they figure if we block them, then they can't get us. But I mean, if you have nothing to hide, then you wouldn't have blocked us. But it is what it is. But they posted up a screenshot from the active Asian account where they said on August 27th, and y'all can see the screenshot right here, that they do not commit any type of debaucherous crimes against these other groups like white people, black people, the South of the Borderian. But one, that's a lie. That is definitely a lie from the pits of hell. But two, the other thing that stuck out to me that some people probably wouldn't have picked up, but that I did, is they didn't say that they didn't commit crimes against each other. Very telling that they didn't say we don't commit crimes or violent acts against other Asians. What that basically tells me is that you do, as shown with this story right here that I'm talking about, and various other ones that don't get talked about, such as what happened in January earlier this year out in California. Where were they at when that happened? And that made world news, and those happened like back to back in the same state, within like the same area, at two different locations, and they weren't connected, but they didn't really talk about it that much. So the fact that they left that out and said that they don't do any crimes against each other lets you know that they do, but they love to talk about quote unquote black on black crime. I'm telling you, that label of model minority runs to their heads. The fact that they got that anti-Asian hate crime bill back in 2021 goes to their head. The fact that they helped overturn affirmative action goes to their head. And I don't hope they harp on that one too long, because I have a feeling, well, actually, I don't have a feeling, I know, because it's already happened, has bitten them in the ass, as I have displayed for you in the last couple of months since they overturned affirmative action. Because again, they feel that affirmative action is just supposed to be only for black people, but we didn't even benefit from it. It was supposed to be for us, but I don't think that black people as a collective benefited from it from its inception. Sure, you had some people that did, but that's a small minority. That's an exception, not a rule. If anything, they benefited more than we did. And there are actual stats and documents to back that up. Between them and PC, it's a tug of war of who gets affirmative action more. But really, to be honest, we know who does. That PC woman. They won't even call that out. So there you go. But they pretty much told on themselves in that tweet, and they probably don't even realize it. And that tweet, as you can see by the date, was August 27th. I'm recording this video on September 14th. You're talking about 2.5, maybe 3 weeks ago when they made it. So that was very recent, and it's very telling about not only what they said in the post, but also who they left out of it. And one other thing, and I almost forgot this until I went back and looked. Apparently this tweet was made literally a day before, or maybe hours before, less than 24 hours before what occurred at UNC, where you had that Asian dude down there, Unalive, that professor down at that school. I believe I did talk about that. What's the irony of this? Is the perfect definition of speaking way too soon.